It's Saturday. Oh, excuse me. I did not drink enough water this morning. All right. Give people a chance to join. There's Larry. Whoop, whoop. I was pretty excited. Yesterday was really nice outside, so it was good to get some walking in. I went outside, took my kiddo, and live in the country, so like neighbors look different in the country. Like kind of everybody's your neighbor, and had a really nice socially distant quick chat with one of my neighbors because he was out push mowing his yard and saw us out walking. So that was nice. It was nice to just kind of touch base with another person a little bit farther outside of my circle, just to see kind of like what was going on with them and checking in and making sure that everything was good with them. So that was cool. It was really nice to connect, even in a really strange, weird, different kind of time. So, all right. Dun, dun, dun. Let me collect my thoughts here. So, as always, there is going to be updates as we get them are posted to hancockhelps.org. So I know some of the recent updates were about food distribution. That's going to be happening in Hancock County in the month of April. So if food is something that you are struggling with, definitely would encourage you to check out hancockhelps.org, either for yourself or somebody that you care about. There's some really good local information up there. And hey, Ellyn, it's very good to see you pop up too. So I miss y'all. All right, so as always, we are going to start today's recovery check-in with a moment of gratitude. Sound like a sportscaster there for a second. I love seeing when it pops up that people are watching, and it's like, I don't know. It feels good. It feels like we have a thing going. It's good to connect, for sure. So, moment of gratitude. I am grateful for lots of things, as usual. However, one thing that I am particularly grateful for, I don't know, this might be a little bit strange, but I'm kind of grateful that I've struggled with allergies my entire life. And the reason being is that I've had, 20 plus some years to figure out what works for my allergies and what doesn't. And those experiences, that lived experience, allowed me to be of assistance to one of my really good friends this morning, who actually had an allergic reaction to some makeup that she had put on, one of my colleagues. And so it was really cool just to be able to have that lived experience, because I've totally reacted, my skin has reacted to stuff before. And she's in a bigger city and trying to practice staying inside and that kind of stuff, and she doesn't have really anything to manage an allergic response in her house. So we were able to kind of talk through that and figure out something, and she can get some relief. So I think that's the first time in my life that I've maybe been grateful for my allergies. Because it allowed me to, again, just be of help and be of service to someone else. So yeah, so that's the moment of gratitude for today. I would definitely encourage you all to think about, if you haven't already thought about today, what are you thankful for and grateful for in this moment today, April 4th, 2020, at noon, where you at on that gratitude scale. Think it through. Feel free to share it with others that are watching, leave a comment, share it with somebody that's maybe around you. But I would love to hear what y'all are grateful for. So today's topic for our recovery check-in is meditation, and kind of different meditation styles. So we're going to kind of cover this from like 1,000-foot level, because there is so much information about meditation and what that looks like and how to do it and all that. I mean, there's at least 30, 40, 50 different styles of meditation out there. Like, no joke. It's kind of cool, because like you can, just like there's multiple pathways of recovery, and that can look pretty much any way that the human mind can create, and human minds are infinitely creative. Just like there's multiple pathways of recovery, there are multiple pathways of meditation. And so sometimes it's learning about those different styles, learning about those different tools, and finding the one or multiple ones that you can kind of piece together that fit you and your personality and your life situation, and just kind of how your spirit rolls, if you will. So I'm very excited to talk about this. This is a topic that came from one of y'all. And yeah, so we're going to break down meditation. It's something we've kind of talked about as a good way to practice some self-care and to help to manage anxiety and stress and depression and sometimes some of those more maybe troublesome emotions. Meditation's a great tool to have in your tool belt, toolbox, tool container, whatever floats your boat there. So when it comes to meditation, it's really kind of like, it's the art of being with yourself. And sometimes in recovery, early on, even later on, kind of at various different points in your recovery journey, even during your day, being with yourself by yourself can be uncomfortable, can be intimidating, and come with lots of different kind of maybe emotions or hesitancies and all that. However, meditation, like I said, it's the art of being with yourself, but it's also about not judging yourself. Meditation is where you take off your judgy McJudge pants, you leave those at the door, and are with yourself in a very open, very honest, very non-judgmental kind of way. Meditation's about being gentle with yourself, gentle with your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your thoughts. It is about acceptance of self and the environment. But if you can really latch on to one thing, it's being gentle with yourself in a way that is non-judgmental. Gentle, accepting, open. So it's easier to, if you're new to meditation, it can feel weird and it can feel awkward, and you're like, I'm sitting here or I'm doing this thing and like, I don't know, is this working? And so that you got to reflect kind of on yourself and how you felt before versus how you feel during versus how you feel after. And it's not a good or bad thing. It just an is thing. Meditation, it's a skill you develop over time with practice. I mean, there are people who devote their entire lives to studying and developing their meditative practice. It doesn't have to be you. If you desire to do that, like by all means, like sally forth, be brave and courageous in pursuit of that lifestyle for you. But you can also use just meditation just as a wellness tool. So, when it comes to meditation, there's tons of different ways that you can divide it. One of the most helpful ways that I've found to kind of divide it is there's a type of meditation called concentrative meditation, and then there's a type of meditation called mindful meditation. So, we're going to delve into the concentrative type first. So, concentrative type of meditation it's a focused meditation. So that focus could be on an object, like I could meditate on my water bottle. I mean, not like literally on it, but about it. I could stare. That could be my fixed point in the world to just lose myself, to focus, to accept, to be open. Because sometimes it can be helpful to have that external object to help kind of free your mind from other things that are going on and just become a little bit more introspective and a little bit kind of look inside. With all of that, though, it is it is about not judging that. Like, I'm not going to judge that water bottle. If I lose my attention from the water bottle, I'm not going to be like, oh, Ellyn, you messed up your meditation. You're looking at the coffee mug instead of the water bottle. Nah, I'm just be like, all right, I'm going to notice that, I'm going to acknowledge it, and we'll bring it back to the water bottle. So you can focus on an object. You can focus on a mantra. And the mantra can be, one syllable. It can be a phrase. You can say it out loud. You can say it in your head. You can have it written down on a piece of paper that you read over and over and over and over and over again. Whatever works for you. I am not, like, if I'm doing a mantra meditation, which I do, I like to do pre-yoga session for me, because I like to use multiple styles of meditation. I'm not a say it out loud kind of gal. It's just not my jam. So I say it in my head. I have that mantra in my head, whether that mantra is I am strong, whether it is, a sentence like that, or whether it's just a syllable. Focusing on that mantra, again, it helps to move your focus from all of this out here to moving inward, to focusing on yourself in that non-judgmental way. Another type of kind of concentrative meditation, you might focus on your breath. Simply focus on that exchange of air that's happening inside your body, as you breathe in deeply and your diaphragm expands and your belly goes out and you feel all the air go down into your lungs, and you maybe hold it there for a second, and then you breathe out, maybe through your nose, maybe through your pursed lips, kind of whatever works best for you, and you feel the air go out of your lungs and into the environment, and then you breathe back in. Sometimes you're just focusing on that breath. So there's that focus meditation. Guided meditation is kind of a focused meditation, because, if you're struggling with meditation, try the guided stuff. There's tons of really cool, really free guided meditations out there on YouTube. So go try that. Give it a go. Because guided meditation helps you focus on like an external thing. So if you're of the variety, or you're in a state right now where you have trouble kind of focusing, or you do really well when someone's kind of giving you verbal directions, try that guided meditation thing. It can really, really help you just kind of to focus and then turn kind of inwards. A lot of guided meditations kind of take you on a journey. You might be going over some rivers or valleys, or there might be a forest and some light and sand and all kinds of cool things, that you really use that power of your mind to create a vision while you're meditating. So really cool kind of option for you if you're kind of new in that whole meditation thing. And then, sometimes I think there's a myth out there that meditation has to involve two things, being all zen on a mountaintop, thinking about nothing, or two, having your eyes closed. So those two things, while yes, there is totally a type of meditation that's it's an empty mind kind of meditation. There is a fancy word for it. While yeah, that's a thing and that exists and people love it and dig it, it's not for everybody. Because there's literally, people spend a lifetime getting to the point where when they meditate, that there is an absence of all thought. And for some people, they find that empty mind kind of concept very soothing. I'll be honest, it's not one that I have been able to practice. I've tried to practice it. It just doesn't seem how my soul jives right now. Maybe as I get older, that'll change. So that empty mind thing, it's a very valid type of meditation, but it doesn't have to be that way. The other thing is with your eyes closed. You don't have to meditate with your eyes closed, by no means. Always kind of consider what you feel to be the most secure kind of environment for you. So you can have your eyes wide open. You can have them kind of half closed. You can close your eyes if you're in a space where you feel that you can do that and that's of comfort to you. Do it. but you don't have to. Meditation, it is about that non-judgmental acceptance of self. So if you got to keep your eyes open, go for it. If you're going to have them kind of at half-mast, go for it. If you want to have them closed, go for it. You do you within meditation, because it's about you going inside of you to accept you, to be with you. All right, so concentrative types, you're focusing on an object, you're focusing on a mantra, you're focusing on your breath, maybe you're focusing on getting all those thoughts out of your head, or doing a guided meditation. The other kind of meditation, kind of like big group, is the mindfulness meditation. And this is one I know the most about because it's one that I practice the most in my life. And mindfulness meditation is really being aware of yourself and what you're doing in the present moment. Because really the present moment is all we got. And it is, again, it's a very non-judgmental process. And mindfulness meditation is focusing on acceptance big time and non-judgmentalness, just like really all meditation. Mindfulness meditation is very flexible. So it's something that you can do, so the concentrative meditation you're typically doing while you're sitting in one spot or standing in one spot kind of thing. Mindfulness meditation, though, you can do sitting in one spot, standing, laying down. You can do it while you're walking. You can do it while you're doing a task and do it mindfully and kind of have that meditative state. When you're doing that mindfulness meditation, it is awareness of the present moment, that you are open and accepting and present in that exact moment. So, I know when I started this, I have what some meditation teachers kind of say is puppy brain. I have a puppy brain, also known as like a squirrel brain, where you're trying to focus on something and then you're like, ooh, shiny. There's a thing over there. And you get distracted. Like, that's okay. Mindfulness meditation is like, don't judge yourself for that. Acknowledge it and bring your attention back to the present moment. Bring your attention back to the present feeling. And, so like if I am, for example, if I'm doing some mindfulness meditation while I'm in my flower bed, working and pulling those weeds, I'm fully present in pulling those weeds. So what that means is that I'm acknowledging and I am concentrating on feeling my fingers in my glove grasping the weed and what it feels like to pull that weed out of the earth, because there's that tension there, and what it feels like to hold that weed that I just pulled out and put it in the bucket, and what feelings come with that. For me, it's usually relief, because I like to kind of get all of that ground kind of clear of weeds so I can have some beautiful flowers, so paying attention to those feelings, but also at the same time, like, not holding on to them. So often what I tell myself when I'm doing this kind of mindfulness meditation to stay in that moment is 3 things. So thinking about my body, my thoughts, and my feelings. And I tell myself, especially if I'm starting to get kind of like maybe hung up on a particular thought, maybe while I use weeding a lot to clear my mind. So maybe while I'm weeding my flower bed, I'm thinking about a particularly challenging situation at work or a challenging situation with a family member. And it's starting to bring me some anxiety, and I notice my heart rate going up. So I pay attention to my body. I pay attention to, like, okay, my body is signaling to me that I'm holding on to something. What is it that I'm holding on to? So then I think about that thought, and it's probably that challenging situation. And so then when I tell myself, okay, I'm going to acknowledge it, name it if I can, and let it be. That's it. I just let it be. So I will acknowledge that maybe my hands feel really tense. And I'm going to name that as tension. I have tension in my hands. And I'm going to let it be. Because what I've found by telling myself to just let that be is that it goes away. It's a lovely little thing. Like, you're not forcing anything within this kind of mindful meditation. You're not forcing yourself to relax. You're not forcing yourself into any kind of box. You're simply acknowledging it and letting it go or letting it be. And when we give that sensation the power to just be itself, I think you'll find that it'll quickly start to dissipate. Like it'll start to go away. So it's that very open, accepting, and present. And again, that mindful meditation is being aware of yourself in the present moment. Your body, your mind, and your heart, your feelings. Being aware and focusing on that open, non-judgmental acceptance, acknowledging it, naming it if you can, but don't get hung up on it, because you may have a feeling or a thought that comes up that you're like, I can't put a name to it. I don't know how to wrap my hands around it. That's okay. Acknowledge that that thing exists, and then let it go. Let it be. Another a type of that mindful meditation can also kind of extend into like a loving kindness meditation. And where that starts sometimes, if you're having a little bit of trouble with that present moment, think about extending self-compassion and self-love. So it might start with, that while you're doing a task, you're thinking about, I wish myself well, I wish myself happiness, I wish myself joy. And then you continue in that task, and then you add somebody else, so it might be, I wish my dog Kina happiness, I wish her joy, and I wish her well. And then it might extend to your neighbors, and then it might extend to a whole group of people. So maybe you start with you, and then someone around you, and then maybe you say, I wish everyone in my neighbor happiness, I wish everyone in my neighborhood joy, and I wish everyone in my neighborhood well. And you can continue out into the whole wide world. I know when I do that, like it, maximizes the gratitude, because I realize how many people in the world that I'm connected to that I want them to be happy. But then also, it just automatically gets you into that zone of loving kindness to yourself and to everyone else. So just a little tidbits on meditation. If you want to kind of see us go further into that, give us a holler. So we talked about, just to kind of summarize, we talked about how meditation, there's lots of different styles, lots of different ways to do it, but those big fundamentals are about being non-judgmental towards yourself and about being with yourself, by yourself. So you can do that by concentrating, focusing on an object or a mantra or your breath or a specific kind of feeling. You can focus it on trying to empty your mind of all thoughts. You can do that in a mindful way where you're staying super present in the moment, and you can stay super present in that moment whether you're sitting in your chair and feeling the chair underneath you, or whether you might be out for a walk and you're having that extreme appreciation for the present moment of the sun shining on your skin, of the wind blowing in the tree and making the branches rattle a little bit, and having that genuine appreciation for that moment where you're open and accepting and acknowledging and letting things be. As well as that loving kindness kind of meditation where you're expressing yourself, loving kindness to yourself, and then expressing that out to the world in which you live. So a couple different kinds of meditation. Again, like, this is a subject we can totally dive into more. If you're interested, holler. But as always, if there's anything that you want us to talk about, feel free to give us a message, and we'll happily address that in a recovery check-in that's coming up. If you are needing some support, give us a call. You can call Focus. We answer the phone 10 to 7, Monday through Saturday. So that's 419-423-5071. If we are on the phone with someone else, you may get the voicemail. Leave us a voicemail. We will get back to you. You can email us. You can message our Facebook page. We want you to know that we are here for you during these really unique and challenging times. We want you to know that you are supported, and there are a heck of a lot of people out there who do care about you, and you are not alone in this. So while we might be physically distant, we are socially connected, and we are connected as a recovery community and just as a community of people overall. So please hold that in your heart until we talk again tomorrow. And as always, keep your hearts and minds resilient. And I will see you guys tomorrow on Sunday, my favorite day of the week, at noon. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.